Brodes Media.
I can't process anything right now. I feel my body is just in a state of what? From top to bottom. And I want to forget everything that just happened over the last 9 hours. But instead, that Orion Kerkering play, when I'm dead, I'm still going to have that stuck into my thick skull. It is going to be all over my brain nonstop. When I'm dead, when I'm not even breathing anymore, when my entire body is just a corpse and I'm not here, I'm still going to be thinking about how he didn't just take a deep breath and throw it to Bryce. I really thought that if you got to that top half, you were winning the game. Did you see who was warming up? Did you see who was in the bullpen warming up for the Dodgers? If you got to that top half, damn it, you were winning that baseball game. And the issue, without a doubt, once again, the high-profile lads decide, I ain't gonna do it. It just is what it is again. That's why after the win game 3, I said, I love the excitement the night of. But man, if we know one thing about this group, they are wildly inconsistent. When they rock, they rock. It's 8-2. When they don't show the fuck up, they don't show the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So the 0 for 5 from Turner. Kyle, 1 for 5. Harper, 0 for 4. Brandon Marsh, he looked overwhelmed and lost. But sometimes you got to win tight pitching duels in the playoffs, and you got to manage yourself into a win. Big picture, the offense is the biggest problem, and there needs to be serious change. With that said, though, in the moment, you have to ride with Luzardo. There are guys that have ice in their veins, and they're cold-blooded, and then there are guys that are extremely shaky. Orion Kerkering, and I've been saying this for a long time now, and especially lately since he's been inheriting runners and they've been coming around to score at too high of a clip. That's pressure. Coming into a game in July with 2 men on and needing to get out of it and not being able to, that's pressure. He doesn't handle pressure well. So now, in extra innings, in a 1-1 game, inheriting runners with the season on the line against the Dodgers, that's the pressure you think he's going to handle? My point is this, Topper. You couldn't have went to a worse guy to handle that moment than Kerkering. And that was glaring and obvious before the outcome. I'm not shocked that that happened. I feel bad. I do. I don't want to see anyone go through that. You could tell right away he was blacked out when he was in that dugout and his teammates went over to him and Topper went over to him. That's horrible. It's horrible. I'm not one of those that are being evil and malicious towards Orion Kerkering. If anything, I think Rob set him up to fail. That's not him. Luzardo. He's got the stones. You saw Sanchez. He's got stones. Duran, asking him to do a little more. I would have kept him in instead of going to Strom. But hey, the Strom thing worked, even though I thought there were hittable pitches that he left over the plate. And hey, he escaped. But there are guys that know what it's like to at least give you a real shot. A real shot this time of the year. It was never Orion Kerkering. And this is what Rob does. He goes down with his guys. And I think if I'm Dave Dombrowski, first off, I don't want Dave back. I'm cleaning house big time, even from Dave on down. But if you keep Dave, and I assessed this NLDS, I thought Rob Thompson was putrid. Putrid. Games are going to be like this. It's the playoffs. Listen, the Dodgers are one of the most high-powered offense in the league. They had one run. They're a very high-powered offense. This is the playoffs. You're getting into the thick of it. Season on the line. 1-1, extra innings. It's going to be a war. And truth be told, throughout the game itself, it felt like a war. It felt like a high... what's the way I labeled it? I labeled it a heavyweight match. It felt that way. It felt like two really good National League teams going at it. And Tyler Glasnow, Christopher Sanchez. And then you had mistakes. Sheehan not getting his foot on the bag. And then boom, Nick Castellanos makes him pay. The great defense. Bryce played good defense. Trey had an awesome defensive play. Bryson Stott up the middle. Max Kepler with an amazing dive in left field. You saw some good glove over there at third base for the Dodgers. I thought I saw some things where it was teams going at it. And sometimes it's going to be 1-1 and your offense might be quiet and you might have to steal one run somehow throughout the back stretch of the game when things are getting tight and intense, and you have to manage through that this time of the year. You don't think these are going to be standard in the playoff? These type of games happen. 1-run games, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2. You have to manage these games. And I don't think Rob handled that well. Sometimes it's going to be like this. Of course, I don't want it to be. Of course, I want Bryce to hit a nuke, Kyle to hit a nuke, guys to come up large. And let's not forget, and I know we can't change it, but man, that umpire, Alex Cole, that seventh inning, the look Christopher Sanchez gave, that was the look I used to get from my grandma when I knew I did something wrong. She said, hey, don't eat the ice cream. The little Dixie cups, the ice cream that comes with the wooden spoon, the chocolate and vanilla. I don't even know if half of you are old enough to even know what the damn Dixie cups are. But she used to have a bunch in the freezer. She said, hey, you can't have any before your dinner. I'd go, okay, Grandma. I'd go in, I'd take a scoop, I'd look across the thing. She's like, you giving me those ice? Like, you son of a bitch. You did what I told you not to do. You're in trouble. Get your ass over here. I'm bringing out the wooden spoon. You're getting spanked. Come on, man. You can't miss that. And that could have changed the whole direction of this game because that's when they were able to produce. That was bad. And that was bad. That was bad. Egregious. You still had other moments to win this game, though. Let's not forget, in the first, you stranded Kyle Schwarber over at third. Would have been nice to get to Tyler Glasnow early. Maybe, I don't know, doesn't have the same sharp 6 innings, let's say. And maybe they even pulled him out of the game a little early. They were sitting around maybe 80-something pitches or so. But man, Christopher Sanchez was sick, wasn't he? He was doubted. I actually had a very proud father moment because I remember watching Christopher Sanchez, just like all of you, before he was this. He was, you know, maybe like a 4th or 5th starter. All right, he's interesting. He's intriguing. A nice lefty. Let's see what we got out of him. Man, this guy has developed into a superstar on the road, season on the line, versus the Dodgers. Fuck you. I've seen some pitches to Freddie Freeman and Shohei where it made them look like straight up nobodies. They looked like Rojas. They look like Yohan Rojas at the plate. Freddie Freeman and Ohtani because of what he's doing to those lefties. And then what he does to the righties, he was so gross, man. I had a, wow, this is phenomenal and awesome. And I was like smiling throughout the first couple of innings, just realizing where we were. But, oh man, it just sucks. How about Bader in the 11th? Tough spot for him to come in, obviously coming off the bench, but you need those moments. Sometimes Bryce gets on second because of the wild pitch that goes to the backstop. You did have some of those opportunities, and you just didn't cash in on them. And oh, man. The core now. What do you do about the core now? I think you need to just completely wipe it clean. You got to have some serious conversation. You got to figure out if the Kyle Schwarber thing is worth it. You got to figure out if the JT experiment. I would love to keep Ranger because you saw what these guys were capable of doing without Zach Wheeler here. That was serious. That's winning stuff, right? You're here with Nola. I still believe in Nola long-term more than most people, but Sanchez, Ranger, that is serious winning stuff. And listen, do I think Kyle Schwarber is a winner? Well, he's won. He has that on his resume, and I do think he is a winner, but I don't know if this fits together. And truth be told, I do know. It does not fit together. These are 96-win teams. Listen, they're winning the division with a good amount of 90-plus wins, but they're getting to the NLDS and folding because their brand offensively is just, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't work. That's what I do know. And you got to break it up to some level. Well, what are you going to do at catcher, bro? Don't know. Something new. What are you going to do with the DH and lose those 50-something bombs and the run per... I don't know. I don't know. But what are we going to do if we keep everything together? Keep the band back together. You're going to do this again. They're already in that land of I don't give a shit what you do anymore, because until you prove to me that you can win when the lights shine bright and you can do something serious and you can be the aggressor, I'm not going to care about you. That's where they are now. And a lot of us were there all year long. They're not fundamentally sound enough either. And I don't know if that's a Rob Thompson problem. I don't know if that's an organizational philosophy problem. It's probably something that's even deeper than just Rob, if we're being honest. But they don't know how to run the bases. They don't know how to make simple plays, obviously. They always shoot themselves in the foot. They're giving other teams extra outs. All the things that you are supposed to be super crisp at, they're way too shaky. And maybe it's as simple as, and we said this when they were kind of putting the roster together, and this year it was a little bit different than last year because Nick wasn't playing as much, and there were times when Kyle was playing left field, and we said that they don't make a lot of sense on how they are built 1 through 9. You just got to hope and pray they mash. And then they started to double down on starting pitching to kind of counterbalance that a bit. But whatever they tried to do, each year it got worse. And this year, we're in the same exact position. So the big jolt that Dave Dombrowski gave you with the best trade deadline acquisitions he's ever given us resulted in the same exact finish. And I don't want to hear for a damn second, and I know it's coming, that the Zach Wheeler injury changed a lot. Of course it did. But the starting pitching wasn't the problem. You can win with this. You can win with this. So if they ever think they're throwing that in my face, I am punching you in the face. Because that just can't be right. There's one area of this team that deserves to not ever get 1 ounce of criticism at all in this journey that we just embraced, this journey with 4 games. It was the quickest journey in the history of the world, but it sure as hell isn't this starting pitching. So you better not use that as an excuse at all.